Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever stared at a blank digital canvas for hours completely terrified of making that first mark, or if you spent 3 days on a piece only to realize the anatomy is completely warped and the colors look like mud, trust me, I have been there. Painting digitally can feel incredibly overwhelming because there are just too many tools, too many brushes, and honestly, too many ways to mess up. But today, we are stripping away all the fluff. This is the first video of a complete 5-part masterclass series where I am going to take you through my entire digital painting process from absolute scratch, step by step, with zero secrets kept. By the end of this 5-video series, you are going to understand exactly how to take a messy, chaotic idea from your head and turn it into a fully polished, professional illustration. And to make this completely practical, I'm not just going to show you random examples. We are going to work on one single massive project together, across all 5 videos. It's a fantasy character concept piece, a cyberpunk rogue standing under neon rain, which has a ton of complex lighting, multiple textures, and tricky perspective. Now, because this is a comprehensive, deep dive tutorial, this first video alone is going to run for about an hour. We are not skipping anything. I want you to see every single pen stroke, every mistake I make, and exactly how I fix it in real time. Since we have a lot of ground to cover today, here is the roadmap. For the first 20 minutes, we are focusing entirely on mindset, rough thumbnailing, and finding the right composition. Then, around the 25-minute mark, we will transition into structural sketching and anatomy refinement. Finally, in the last 15 minutes of the video, we will clean everything up into a production. Reedy line art layer. If you are already familiar with basic composition and you just want to jump straight into the heavy anatomy sketching and line art breakdown, you can skip ahead right now. Everyone else, let's open up our drawing software, grab your stylus, and let's dive right in. Zan, let's start with the absolute blank canvas, right now. I'm working on a standard canvas size at Sandbag DPI, using a basic hard round brush with pressure sensitivity turned on for opacity. The biggest mistake I see beginners make at this exact stage is what I call the masterpiece paralysis. You look at the white screen, you want to draw something incredible, so you immediately zoom in to Baifanjasibai and start drawing a highly detailed eyeball. Please, do not do that. When you start with details, you lose control of the whole picture. Instead, we need to think in shapes and values. Look at what I'm doing right here at the 3-minute mark. I'm squinting my eyes, using a very large brush and just blocking in massive chunks of gray and black. I'm trying to figure out where the character stands in relation to the background. This is called thumbnailing. My goal here isn't to make it look pretty. My goal is to see if the story works. For this cyberpunk rogue, I want a sense of danger and verticality. So, I'm sketching a strong diagonal line across the canvas to represent a rooftop, and I'm placing a rough silhouette of a figure right in the center. Let's create a second thumbnail right next to it to compare. If you watch my stylus right now, around the 6-minute mark, I'm trying a completely different camera angle this time. Let's try a low-angle shot, looking up at the character from the street level. Notice how just by changing the horizon line, the entire mood changes. The first thumbnail felt lonely and isolated, while the second one feels incredibly powerful and dramatic. This is why we thumbnail. It takes less than 5 minutes, but it saves you 50 hours of correcting a bad composition later on. Take a look at how these shapes balance each other out. I like the drama of the second option, but I want to bring back some of the atmospheric storytelling from the first one. So let's merge the concepts. We will keep the low camera angle, but we'll place massive neon billboards in the background to create deep layers of overlapping silhouettes. Zan, now that we have our basic composition strategy locked in, it's time to move into the actual construction. We are hitting the 15-minute mark of the video, and this is where we transition from abstract shapes to human anatomy. I'm going to lower the opacity of our thumbnail layer to about Baifanjashiwu and create a brand new layer on top. I like to change my brush color to a dull red or blue during this phase because it helps my eyes separate the construction lines from the background block. Out! When you look at a complex pose, don't try to draw the muscles or the clothing folds yet. You have to break the human body down into simple 3-dimensional geometric boxes. Think of the head as a sphere, the chest as a solid box, and the pelvis as another box tilted in opposition to the chest. Look at how I'm drawing the spine here at the 18-minute mark. It's a sweepings curve. That curve is the line of action. It gives the character life and movement. If your line of action is stiff and perfectly vertical, your character will look like a wooden mannequin, no matter how good your coloring is later. Let's focus on the perspective of the body. Since our camera is low, looking up at the rogue, we need to apply three-point perspective to the anatomy. That means the feet are going to be much larger and closer to the viewer, while the head and shoulders will taper slightly as they move further away into the sky. Watch closely as I draw these cylinder guidelines for the thighs and forearms. See how the contour lines wrap around the limbs? Those wrapping lines are crucial because they tell my brain exactly how the limbs exist in a three-dimensional space. If you are drawing along with me and finding that your perspective feels flat, or if you're struggling to make the limbs look like they are actually populating a sandy environment, don't panic. I actually made a massive dedicated breakdown video specifically on mastering three-point perspective for character design. If you want to master that specific skill before moving forward with this piece, you can jump over to watch that guide right now, and then come right back to this video to apply it. Zan. Alright, we are now entering the 25-minute mark, almost halfway through our hour together, and our structural mannequin is fully built. It looks solid, it has weight, and the perspective is working beautifully. Now comes the incredibly fun part, designing the character on top of this skeleton. Our character is a cyberpunk rogue, so we need a mix of high-tech gear and loose, practical clothing that tells a story. I'm going to start with the jacket. Instead of just drawing random lines, I want you to think about gravity and tension points. Look at the shoulders and the elbows right here at the 32-minute mark. The fabric stretches tightly across the top of the shoulders because that's where the jacket hangs. But down at the elbows, where the arm is bent, the fabric bunches up into dense, heavy folds. Notice how I'm using varying line weights even in this rough design stage. For areas where two forms meet, like where the arm crosses over the chest, I make the lines slightly thicker. This creates an immediate visual separation and adds a sense of depth before we even touch the line art or shading. Let's add some tech elements. I'm sketching a mechanical prosthetic arm for his left side. To make it contrast with the organic folds of the cloth jacket, I'm using very sharp, angular, geometric lines. I'm drawing hard panels, exposed wiring around the wrist joint, and small glowing light strips. By placing these rigid, mechanical shapes right next to the soft, flowing folds of the jacket, we create an incredible amount of visual interest. The viewer's eyes will naturally be drawn to that contrast. As we approach the 40-minute mark, look at how the entire character is starting to come together. We have the attitude in the pose, the weight in the clothing, and the narrative details in the tech design. Take a step back from your screen or zoom out completely. Make sure the overall silhouette is still readable. If you turn off all the inner details and just look at the black shape of the character, can you still tell what he's doing? Yes, the pose is clear. The weapon on his back is distinct, and the tilt of his head shows his personality. That means we are officially ready for the final, most terrifying stage of this video, the clean line art. Zan, we are now entering the final stretch of our first video. Right around the 45-minute mark, line art is notoriously the most frustrating part of digital art for so many people. You have this beautiful, energetic rough sketch, and then you try to trace it with clean lines, and suddenly all the energy completely dies, leaving you with a stiff, boring drawing. Let's make sure that does not happen to you today. First, let's lower the opacity of our detailed sketch layer down to about Bifinge's sheer. We want it just visible enough to act as a guide, but not so bright that it distracts us. Now create your final line art layer on top. For this phase, I switch to a brush with very high sharpness and very clean edges. I also turn up the stroke stabilization feature in the software to around shu or arshu. This slows down the brush input slightly, which helps smooth out any natural shaking in your hand and gives you those gorgeous, sweeping, professional lines. The secret to dynamic line art is line weight variation. Never trace everything with the exact same brush size. If you watch my hand movements right here at the 52-minute mark, you'll see exactly how I control this. For outer boundaries, the silhouette lines that separate the character from the background, I use thick, confident strokes. For interior details, like the seams on his jacket, the individual wires on his cybernetic arm, or the features of his face, I drop the brush size down significantly and use an incredibly light touch. Another golden rule of line art is to add extra thickness to your line intersections. Look at the area under the jacket collar or the dark space where the hand grips the weapon handle. By filling in those tiny corners with solid black, you simulate ambient occlusion, which is just a fancy term for the natural shadows that happen when two objects get incredibly close to each other. This tricks the viewer's brain into seeing volume and weight instantly, long before we ever start painting colors or rendering light. Take your time with this. Do not rush. If a line doesn't look right, don't try to save it by scratching over it. Just hit undo and throw the stroke again. Use your entire arm from the elbow and shoulder, not just your wrist. Whipping the brush quickly across the tablet will always give you a cleaner, more vibrant line than trying to slowly creep along the sketch. Din din din, look at that! We are hitting the 59-minute mark, right at the tail end of our first hour. And our final line art layer is officially complete. Take a look at the screen right now. We started with absolutely nothing but a terrifying white canvas. We broke down our composition using quick thumbnails. We built an anatomically correct three-dimensional mannequin using simple shapes. We designed an intricate cyberpunk outfit with great contrast. And we locked it all down with clean, professional, dynamic line art. This is the perfect foundation, and it's exactly where we need to be for the next phase. In the next video of this series, we are going to take this exact line art file and move into part 2, flats, color theory, and setting up our base values. We will talk about how to choose a powerful color palette that tells a story, how to use local colors effectively, and how to organize your layers perfectly so you don't lose your mind when painting. Make sure you save your project file right now, keep your tablet plugged in, and when you are ready to keep going, you can jump straight into the next episode. I will see you all right over there in part 2. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our 5-part Digital Painting Masterclass series. If you just finished working through that first hour of line art with me, congratulations! You have successfully survived the most tedious part of the process, and your foundation is rock solid. If you are just joining us right now and missed how we built this entire Cyberpunk rogue character from a blank canvas, you can jump back to the first video to see the full composition and anatomy breakdown, then meet us right back here. Today, we are moving into what I consider the most exciting turning point of any illustration. Establishing the color palette and locking in our base values. We are going to take this clean line art and turn it into a living, breathing scene. And just like the last video, we are not cutting corners. This is a full 1-hour deep dive. By the end of this hour, your character will have complete local colors, an established light source, and a perfectly organized layer structure that will make the final rendering phase a breeze. For our roadmap today, the first 15 minutes will be all about setting up our flats cleanly, using a few incredible software tricks that will save you hours of manual coloring. Around the 25-minute mark, we are going to dive deep into color theory, specifically focusing on how to create that iconic, moody cyberpunk atmosphere using complementary and triadic color schemes. Then, for the final 20 minutes of the video, we will introduce our very first passive lighting and ambient occlusion to give the flat shapes instant three-dimensional volume. There is a ton of information to pack into this hour, so make sure your drawing tablet is ready. Open up that project file from last time, and let's get into the flats. Alright, let's start with the base. We are looking at our clean line art layer from video 1. Before we even think about choosing pretty colors, we need to create what's called a silhouette mask. This is a solid single color shape of the entire character that allows us to lock our transparency later, meaning we can paint as messily as we want without ever accidentally coloring outside the lines. Look at my screen right here at the 4-minute mark. Instead of taking a brush and manually coloring inside the whole body, I'm going to select my line art layer and set it as a reference layer. Every modern drawing software has this feature. Once it's set as a reference, I create a new layer underneath it. Grab the magic wand tool and click on the empty space FURD, add the character. This selects the entire background perfectly. Then I go to my selection settings and hit invert selection. Boom, now the software has perfectly selected only the interior shape of our rogue. Watch what I do next around the 8-minute mark. I fill that entire selection with a neutral mid-tone gray. Never use pure white or pure black as your background or base, because it completely warps how your eyes perceive value and saturation. With this solid gray silhouette created, I'm going to turn on alpha lock on this layer, or create a clipping masks right above it. This is the ultimate digital art superpower. From this point on, anything we paint on this clipped layer will stay perfectly inside the character's boundaries. Now we can start separating our individual flat colors: the skin, the leather jacket, the metallic arm, and the hair. As I'm blocking these in around the 12-minute mark, notice that I am using a completely flat, hard brush with no opacity settings. We want solid, clean blocks of color. Don't worry about shadows, gradients, or highlights yet. We are just building the jigsaw puzzle pieces. We are hitting the 15-minute mark, and our character looks like a colorful, flat cartoon. Now it is time to talk about the psychology of color theory and how to make this cyberpunk rogue feel incredibly atmospheric. Since our scene takes place on a rainy night under neon lights, we can't just use normal everyday colors. If his jacket is naturally brown leather, it's not going to look brown under a massive blue and pink neon sign. It's going to absorb the environment. This is the concept of ambient light. Let's look at the color wheel at the 22-minute mark. For this piece, I want to use a complementary color scheme with a neon twist, deep, saturated cyan blues for our primary environment, paired with a piercing, vibrant magenta pink as our accent light. For his hair and his cybernetic glowing components, we will use that bright magenta. For his main clothing, we will use desaturated dark blues and muted purples. Why desaturated? Because if every single color on your canvas is at 100% saturation, the viewer's eyes will get exhausted, and nothing will look special. You need desaturated neutrals to make your vibrant neon pops actually sing. Watch how I apply this to the mechanical arm at the 28-minute mark. Instead of making the metal a generic gray, I'm tinting it with a very subtle dark teal. This instantly makes the arm feel like it belongs in a dark, neon-lit alleyway. If color harmony is something you constantly struggle with, if your colors always end up looking dirty, muddy, or way too chaotic, don't get discouraged. It takes a lot of practice to train your eyes. I actually have a highly requested separate video that goes through 5 practical color wheel exercises that will fix muddy colors forever. If you feel like your palettes are holding you back, You can jump over to watch that color harmony guide right now, and then come right back here to apply those exact color picking techniques to this rogue. Moving past the 35-minute mark, our flat colors are completely locked in, and they look beautiful together. The harmony is working, but right now, the drawing still looks completely two-dimensional. It has no depth. We are going to fix that right now by establishing our light sources. For this scene, we have two distinct light sources. Our primary light, the key light, is coming from the top left, which represents a massive neon billboard casting, a cool cyan glow down onto the character. Our secondary light, the rim light, is coming from the bottom right, representing the street. Level neon signs casting a sharp magenta edge along his back and legs. Watch my layer panel closely at the 42-minute mark. I'm creating a new layer above all my flat colors, and I'm changing the layer blending mode to multiply. Multiply is your best friend for painting shadows because it naturally darkens the underlying colors while maintaining their richness. I'm picking a desaturated, cool purple shadow tone. Using a medium soft brush, I am mapping out the massive shadow shapes. Look at how I'm carving out the structure of the face and the deep folds of the jacket. Since the light is coming from the upper left, the entire right side of his body falls into shadow. Look at the 48-minute mark. See how the character instantly pops forward from the screen the moment that shadow layer is turned on. We are no longer looking at a flat drawing, we are starting to see form, mass, and weight. We are entering the final 10 minutes of this second hour, approaching the 52-minute mark, and it's time to add our ambient occlusion and our very first hint of light. Ambient occlusion sounds like a terrifyingly technical term, but it's actually very simple. It's the darkest shadow that exists where two surfaces touch and completely block out all ambient light. Think of the gap between the jacket and the shirt, or the shadow right under the chin. At the 54-minute mark, I'm taking a very small hard brush with a deep, dark indigo color, and I'm manually painting these tiny, dark contact shadows. It's like adding punctuation to a sentence. It grounds everything perfectly. Finally, let's do a quick sneak peek of our lighting before we wrap up today's session. I'm creating one more layer, setting the blending mode to overlay, or color dodge, and picking our bright cyan color at the 57-minute mark. I'm gently brushing this light onto the upper left surfaces of the shoulders, the cheekbone, and the top of the hood. Look at that glow! It instantly brings the cyberpunk vibe to life. And that brings us right to the 1-hour mark for part 2. Take a look at the progress we've made today. We turned a stark line art drawing into a perfectly structured, harmonized color composition with clear light and shadow boundaries. Your files are organized, your values are correct, and the hard work is officially done. In the next video, part 3 of this masterclass, we are going to dive headfirst into the heavy rendering phase. We will spend the entire hour focusing on painting realistic textures, how to make leather look like shiny or weathered leather, how to make the cybernetic arm look like brushed metallic chrome, and how to paint soft, realistic human skin under harsh colored lights. Make sure you save your work as a new version so you don't lose anything. Take a quick break to stretch your wrists, and whenever you are ready to start rendering, click right through to video number 3. I'll see you there.